Good day. Welcome to InFocus Town Talk. Today we are here with Keith Hickey, who is the Town Administrator for the Town of Kingston. Welcome, and we'd like to get right into a number of topics that you want to cover today. Let's start with the property on Winthrop Street. Can you kind of give an overview of what that is and why it's a hot topic right now in the town?
Sure. So Winthrop Street is a piece of property that's 46 acres on Winthrop Street. It's a landlocked piece of property that um, a developer is interested in um, developing for single-family housing. He has purchased access off of Winthrop Street to construct that housing. There are some neighbors in the area that are concerned, obviously, about what may happen on property that butts them. They've had the benefit of having a vacant piece of property now since they've owned their home and are concerned about the potential development that could occur there. So some of the residents have come to Board of Selectmen meetings and voiced their concerns, and the Board of Selectmen um, have a responsibility at some point to make a decision whether they want to exercise the right of first refusal to actually try to purchase the property. The property itself for years has been in what they call Chapter 61, which is a reduced property tax status that allows property owners to have their property, undeveloped property, in a lower property tax bracket. When that property comes out of Chapter 61, as part of state law, they have to offer the community that the property is located in this case Kingston, the ability to purchase that property before they move forward with the sale to somebody else. So right now, the town of Kingston and the Board of Selectmen have been dealing with the property owner and the potential developer now for approximately 9 or 10 months to determine whether or not it makes the most sense for the town to purchase that property. They have a sales price allegedly of $800,000, and I just say allegedly not because I don't believe what they're telling me, but more so I have not seen the P&S itself. But if the town's interested in buying that property, and they actually have a purchase and sale agreement of $800,000, the town would have to purchase that property for $800,000. So the Board of Selectmen and I have been working to gather supporting information, getting an appraisal done on the property to see exactly how much it's worth. Not that it frankly matters because we still have to pay $800,000, whether it's worth $1 million or $500,000. But just to try to get a sense so the voters in this community know what the value of that property is, if the voters ultimately vote to decide whether to purchase the property or not. So, long story short, we're going to discuss it again at the March 16th Board of Selectmen meeting. And the board may or may not be ready to provide a decision on how they want to proceed.
Can I just ask, not being a resident of Kingston, and I've followed a little bit on this subject, if it's sold to this developer who wants to put single family houses, I believe, is that what is the developer's plan for that as it stands right now?
Well, they've indicated to myself and to the building commissioner that they intend to build some sort of single-story housing on the property that will comply either with the current zoning, or they'll be seeking some sort of waiver from the planning and/or zoning board, and potentially the conservation commission, because approximately half of that property is wet. It's an old cranberry bog, so the ability to develop on a good portion of that property will be very difficult at best. So, so we'll see what shakes out. It's obviously a very controversial, emotional discussion for the people who live in the area, and frankly, it's come out of nowhere. We're looking at funding through the Community Preservation Committee, as well as to see if there's any state funding available to potentially offset or fully fund the purchase of the property, if that's what the board would like to try to do and the voters approve that. But at this point, we have not been able to secure that funding.
Okay. So more to follow, and there'll be a lot more. And there's two sides of this story, and both sides, I'm sure, will make their points and counterpoints as to why it would be a good or not a good idea for the town to purchase it or for a developer to get it. Okay.
Yep.
Secondly, can we do a update? What everybody wants to know about is COVID vaccinations, vaccination site, how it's going in
Sure.
Kingston. Have at it.
Thank you. So, fortunately for Kingston and their residents, we have gone from a red state to a yellow state as far as our how we've been graded by the state, the number of cases we currently have. So the number of cases in Kingston continue to decrease. I want to thank all the residents and people who visit Kingston every day to for masking up and keeping a social distance to allow that to happen. The governor's orders have loosened up what's available for businesses. The number of people who can go into restaurants, the movie theaters will be opening, things of that nature in the very near future. And I say we, the staff and the community, primarily the fire chief and our health officer, have been working with 6 or 7 area communities to see if we can establish and be awarded a vaccination location at the Kingston Collection. We met as a group of communities earlier this week and discussed what the concerns and issues may be with doing so. One of the requirements of the state is issuing 750 vaccines a week. According to everybody who was there, that 750 vaccination number per week should be significantly surpassed just by the sheer size of the vaccination location that we would have. We're trying to partner with some healthcare organizations and things of that nature who would administer the shots and help staff the location. One of the questions we've got to try to get answered is how much it would cost each community to participate and provide the service, because there will be a cost to each community to do so. So we are doing some due diligence now. We hope to have an application into the state sometime in the middle of March. And they typically take 30, 35 days to respond. So, maybe by May 1st, we may have an answer. And if we can provide a vaccination location, I can assure everybody who's watching that the staff of Kingston, as well as the surrounding communities, are doing everything they can to make that happen. So if it does not get approved for whatever reason, it will not be because of the effort that was made. We're hopeful, and we'll see what happens. But
Right.
We're certainly doing our due diligence to make sure that the application we submit is as complete and as solid and competitive as it possibly can be.
Yes, and to speak to that, all of the towns that PACTV serves, the town management has mirrored the exact same thoughts that you're kind of
Sure.
at the mercy of getting the vaccine, because if there are no vaccinations coming to you, then setting up all these wonderful sites and these ability to vaccinate a whole bunch of people is moot if you don't have the vaccines to give them. So I know it's really a trickle-down effect from the federal government to the state government to the local government, and I think everyone is perfectly aware that every town is doing everything they can to support and help their own citizens. And just people that are still the over 75 group, and even the ones that are now 65 and over, if they're really having troubles, you said that they can still call the COA for assistance. Is that true?
Absolutely. The staff of the COA have done a great job at trying to provide a resource to people who are having a tough time getting through themselves. They can look at all the different locations that are around the Kingston area who are providing the vaccinations, and they will do their best to find a time and a location that works best for Kingston residents. So please feel free to give the Council on Aging a call.
Right. And in the meantime, all the town managers have stressed, please, residents, keep doing what you were doing. Keep your masking, keep social distancing, keep washing your hands. That has not gone away. And that more than ever, it's really important that we do it now, because we're so close to that ability of getting all of our citizens vaccinated that wish to be so. Now, the restaurants, aside from their being able to open to full capacity, but they have to have 6-foot distances between the tables, which sometimes doesn't really change what they can do. But you also want to talk about their liquor licenses if they're going to start having outdoor dining. What is that? what does that look like?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Certainly, any restaurant who has applied for a liquor license in the past and has not had outdoor dining, they haven't applied for a liquor license that will allow them to serve alcohol outside. For any business or restaurant that is intending to provide the service or serve people liquor outside of their building, if they want to come in now and get their liquor license revised, when and if the governor allows for restaurants to offer liquor outside at outdoor seating, they'll already be in compliance to do that. So just trying to be proactive and have people come in if they're interested. And prior to, there is no cost to do it, and you'll be in compliance with state and local regulations if that liquor license does allow for outside seating service.
Great. So that's good heads up to the restaurants who currently do have liquor licenses. Mm-hmm. And the weather's going to be getting nicer and nicer, and there probably will be a lot more outdoor dining. And finally, let's talk about your town meeting. It's still being decided mm-hmm. exactly where you're going to have it, but can you give us an update?
Sure, thanks. We talked about it at the board meeting this past week. There's a couple of choices that would be available to the board to consider. The first one being at the intermediate school where it normally is held. The superintendent and I have had conversations, and we've reserved that location for May 22nd and if necessary, May 23rd, Sunday, May 23rd. It does become problematic if we go beyond the weekend, if we happen to go that long, and let's hope we don't. And we've also secured a location at the Kingston Collection. I met with the mall manager this week, and they have a vacant site that was once the Best Buy storefront that is open and available to us that would provide a little bit smaller capacity than we had at the town meeting last fall. But much of, or probably close to a third of that room wasn't used and set up last fall. So I think that the both locations will be suitable for town meeting, and as we get a bit closer, hopefully the board will be much clearer for the board to make a decision on which location makes the most sense.
Great. And finally, the last thing about town meeting is, where do people go to get information right now about the articles that are on town meeting, and if they want to research more deeply those articles?
Sure. So right now the warrant has not been finished yet. The people who want to submit an article for consideration have until March 16th to do that. Once the warrant closes at the end of the day on March 16th, we will start having discussions with the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen, and we'll post that draft warrant on our website so people can take a peek at it, understand what may be on there. The warrant won't be finalized until a little bit later this spring. But we will have as much information as we can on all the articles that require some explanation on our website for people to be able to better understand what they're going to be asked to vote on May 22nd.
Great. And finally, let's plug your new show that you're doing with PACTV on a weekly basis. Could you just tell the viewers about that and why you decided it was important for you to do that?
Sure, thanks. So I am taping a 15 or 20-minute television show on a weekly basis to provide the Kingston community with some updated information and current information on what's going on in town, whether it be at Board of Selectmen meetings, the Winthrop Street property, or any other topic that is timely for this time of year. The reason for me to do that is just, again, it's a transparency issue, trying to make sure people are aware of what's happening, and make sure that if people have questions or concerns, they understand what's happening, and have a resource here to be able to call and ask questions of, and try to get an answer to those questions so you have a better understanding of what's happening and why.
Great. And we found that often having the people speak that actually have all the facts and the up-to-date facts is a good source to get information. So we thank you so much, sir, and we'll have you back again. This has been InFocus Town Talk with Keith Hickey from Kingston, and we will see you next time. This is Julie Thompson. Good day.